Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Give everybody a chance to come on in. In other words, let me give myself a little chance to get everything together. All right, let's roll out with one more. Okay, here we go.
I take pack to the lung, killer stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. I guess I take pack to the lung, killer stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real nigga, might get you canceled. Fuck the whole system, need the shit dismantled. Coppers treat a nigga like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on me. News got a story with a new take on me. Peering out the window with a screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my blunt burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburned. Wonder when your government will make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my dick, please, Brad, I earn that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the crackers trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my niggas, middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down to seconds on the timer. Goofy niggas still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy a chopper, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. When you stay ready, you gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm living cause my dick heavy. But ain't shit sweet, niggas think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, I still ain't caught that. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Lance Scurv Show podcast. What number is it? Number 6? I'm bad with numbers. When I start labeling shows, it's bad. Because maybe tomorrow I might say it's number 8 or number 15. I'm jumbled around. It might be 2 number 12s. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, welcome here. We have very few people here tonight for my attempts of shooting out thousands of notes to say, hey, We got knocked off on YouTube for 2 weeks, but we're here and here and here. You can tell the people who paid attention in class, but that's okay because these still have to be produced. And when it's up on YouTube, they'll see it. But that's the funny thing. They'll be reminded, like, where all these shows come from? Where were you? We don't see you. It makes you just want to give up and say, you know what? I'm not trying to tell you where it's going to be. You'll see it when you see it. But tonight's program, like I said, when I this morning made up the topic for this show, and you know when I start out with a certain topic, it's just not going to stay there. The bottom line is that, there's so many shootings in the United States. There's so many shootings in America with the economy. The dollar is shrinking. We have so many drug addicts and the drug epidemic, the tensions, the frustrations. On a subconscious level, so many of us, and this is not just about America for those who are not in America, because we have people who are going to be here, who want to listen to this, who are going to be from all over the world. And no matter where you are in the world, you're going to feel a slight change. It's just like when you're in a northern state and it's summertime and the fall is coming, and there's something about the air that you say to yourself, whoa, wait a second, there's something changing here. It's not as hot as it used to be. Let me just put my headphones on so I can make sure my voice is coming through. Okay, we're good. Yeah, there's a change coming in the air. It's the same way when you have a puppy and the puppy's so adorable, and you raise this puppy, and all of a sudden, for some reason, there's another dog, and this puppy of yours isn't a puppy anymore, but there's another dog now, 2 or 3 blocks away in the middle of the night, and heat. And something about that call makes your little puppy hop the fence, but your puppy's not a little puppy anymore. Now your puppy comes back different because that they engaged in the act of procreation. And now that puppy of yours is aware of what can happen and how good certain things felt. Now it's hard to keep that puppy inside the yard at night. Now your puppy is on the prowl because it's not a puppy anymore. So we have the fall winds that change things. We have the hormonal differences that happen in our little young dogs that make them big dogs and make more dogs. Same thing happens with human beings. There's something in the air. We notice it. We can't tell exactly what it is, but eventually we find out what it is. Well, I'm picking on America because I'm from the United States. I did 57 and a half years in the United States, like a prison sentence that it was. And people would say, well, if you don't like it, you can get out. If you don't like America, you're heavy, goddammit, you can leave. Go back to Africa. And that's what I did. And now that I did, so many people who are frenemies are looking at me like I'm crazy, but they're like, oh my God, we can't have these Negroes do that. If they did that, what would we do? Because let me tell you something, the oppressive forces of the United States, and again, that could be the UK or anywhere these pink parasites dominate, right? Because we know that they are the world minority. I say it time and time again, that they are 9% of the population. That's the world minority, but they have the Jedi mind trick that they do to you to make you think that you're the minority, and they come back with all types of things to make you think that you're less. Here you are in the motherland, right? Many of you who are born and raised here. And when you see this Caucasian come to your country, whatever country it may be on the continent of Al-Kebulon, aka Africa, you put your head down like you are less, and you are not. Now, this is not all who are here. This is not all my brothers and sisters, okay? But the bottom line is that this is how they have us screwed over. That whatever comes from them is better. We can have all the cocoa in the world here in Ghana, and we export it. And when they make it and change it over into a candy bar over in the UK and sell it back to us, we're going to go and pay for that. I mean, I got a little few bit of spankings to do to everybody all over the world. I just don't understand it. It's our oppressed mind and our acceptance of oppression that makes it possible for them to be in the position that they are. In America, they'll say, oh, you don't need to go there to where the black people live because it's a hood. Well, what are you talking about? that it's a hood. Because now, if you look at it and you really, 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 really look at it, you will see that the whole country, the whole of the US, the whole of the United States of America is turning into a hood. And so, what do I mean by hood? I mean, okay, here we go. Let me just check out something. There's a message that came over here to me. Just let me know how the sound is coming. Okay, just want to make sure the sound is coming through good, that there's no echoing going on, because I'm about to shift the gear and just get right on into it. All right, just let me know. Hit me up. Let me know. Mr. Mensa, King Parker, Landon Price, welcome to the show. As you well know, YouTube had knocked us off for 2 weeks because we had the irritated genie on. Okay, and because of that, we have to broadcast it everywhere else and on landscape.com. And for those that are hearing this afterward, just know that we'll always be on landscape.com. Okay, we'll always be there when something happens and even when it doesn't happen. And as a matter of fact, I don't even know if I want to come back to YouTube. People are just going to have to know that we're not there anymore. I'm going to do some things. The comment sections will be there. We have a comment section there now, and they just don't figure it out. So I'm not saying anything. What, you're not having any shows anymore? I'm not saying anything. And when it comes time to come back to YouTube, I probably won't come back. I'm really seeing certain things right now. But like I said, with that particular title that we have in the show, I want to read out something, and I just want to read this story because these stories happen. They're happening more and more, and they can't hide it anymore. And statistically, when you talk about mass shootings and then you talk about the hood, they make it. And again, let's just get this loose in a loose way. Let's get it defined what we mean here. Usually, when people say the hood, okay, it means where black people live. It means where black people live, and it's never really anything good coming out of the hood. Okay. Oh yeah, the hood. They sell drugs in the hood. There's crime in the hood. There's prostitution in the hood. You better not go to the hood at night. They're gonna rip you off. They're gonna mug you. They're gonna take all your money. Or you can go to the hood if you want to. That's where they sell drugs. You see those white folks going out there, going into certain parts of the hood, going to buy their drugs. Now, it's a partial truth. It's a place that is so oppressed. It's a place where you have to survive when you don't have the means. Many people have lived in the hood and have moved out of the hood. Many people moved into the hood because they had to temporarily and lived there a little bit of time now, and they understand the hood. And some people have been there, moved there, born there, and have been there for the whole life. They've been there for the entire life. So what do you expect? There's a mentality that goes on in the hood. And again, it's technology because many who are there begin to believe that they're never going to leave, that they're never better than their circumstances. So it's a big controversy. They get blamed for everything. Oh, yeah, yeah, I would never live in the hood. I live over here in the affluent side of town. Well, let me tell you something. In the so-called affluent side of town, what they mean is that the white side of town, or if it's another race, being near them. We have to talk about these things. Many of us are afraid to speak on these things, but I'm not afraid to speak on what I know. I know this for a fact. I know how people look at us, and you'd be surprised. I didn't grow up in any hood. I grew up middle class in the United States. I didn't grow up upper class, but I grew up in middle class. I didn't have everything I wanted, but I had everything that I needed. I went to school, had a nice clean house that I lived in, which was also a home. And so this is why maybe to those who want to throw me off because I'm black and say, well, yeah, he grew up in the hood. But a lot of times you realize with a lot of these white folks, when you go to jobs or go to schools, you grew up better than them. And they don't like that. You grew up a little more intelligent than them because of the time invested by your parents, by the things they expose you to, time put in. You can tell the difference. And again, I'm not throwing off on anybody from the so-called hood because lots of times I would end up over there with friends of mine who were from the same class and from the same school. So I understand it. Just the same way I was around people who had money. So I understand all mentalities. But I'm talking about extreme money. Okay. You want a name drop? Well, when I went to camp in 1974, right? because of one of my father's clients' connections, they allowed me to go to this camp up in the Adirondacks called Camp Treetops in the North Country School. Now, some of the people that I mixed and mingled with are philanthropists, giving away, they have billions of dollars, and this is what they do, give away money to help a cause. I just wish I was a cause. So I say, hey, remember me from 1974? Michael Rockefeller was there. I had gotten into a fight with him, but it was kind of one-sided. He pushed into me when I was brushing my teeth, and I punched him in the head. Maybe that's why I caught hell all through my life. You see that little black boy right there? Give him hell. Turn your back on him. He's good at what he does, and always mess with him because you can't put your hand on the Illuminati. That's what I did. Well, he grew up. I think he's dead now. He passed away. He died. And I think he was slightly disowned because, he was LGBT before they called it LGBT, right? And I guess that was a big family secret. But back to the whole situation, there's certain ways that many who are not in the country, many who haven't grown up in the country, they don't understand the inner workings of America. And there are many who I've known who are not in the country and don't live there, want to go there so bad. They want to go there so bad. Lance, I can't wait until I go to America. The money, the women, the cars, the homes, it just seems so easy there. It's not hard like here. And what they don't understand is that 9 times out of 10, the reason why they may look at it as hard is because of how they've been indoctrinated, and they don't see the value of what they have underfoot, but the oppressor does. The oppressor does. And in a lot of these countries where the people who are growing up want to go to America, in the schools, they pointed them that way, that there are many opportunities abroad. Translation, you don't have shit where you are. Meanwhile, the oppressor that depends on the schools to get your mind that way, they might hire you to do menial work. While you're like, wow, I'm doing this low-paying job. I need to go to America. No, you don't. You need to know what you have underfoot and how you have value to the whole planet and do your own thing with the land that you've been blessed with. But you can't see that because on the smartphones, on a television set, they're projecting this image that America is so sweet. And I'm not anti-America, but I'm pro-truth. I'm not going to lie to you. The things you see are there, but they don't show you the other parts. That's the overwhelming majority of what people who live there do not get a chance to experience. You see New York City on the smartphone. You see all the money flowing, and you see youngsters, young kids in their 20s, just out of their teens, driving big cars, having homes. How could you be that age and have all of this? Well, I learned in Ghana here that the banks really don't mess with you, even when you're a citizen, unless you have a government job or some big business that really pulls in the money. The banks don't help the people, the common people who may not have the opportunity. So what do? 90% of the population doesn't have the help of the big banks. So if you buy a vehicle, you better buy it cash. And usually when you're a working man, you're not making cash because lots of cash because the economy is so messed up. And it brought me to a bigger understanding as to why many here think the way they do, that America is so good. Because see, in America, 9 times out of 10, you have enough money and halfway good credit for a down payment. You can get a flashy, brand new, good smelling, perfectly new car, vehicle, or truck. And you only put down $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000, or even more, depending on how bad your credit is off. But they don't realize that when they look at the videos. They don't realize that when they see everything on a smartphone, on YouTube, that makes it look like it's heaven on earth. And so they feel that pain and they feel the lust for that kind of life, and they say, I want to leave this place. But the people who really, really who have it as millionaires over there or billionaires over there, yes, the people can have a few trinkets that make it look like everybody has it, but they're paying for it. They got to work 2 and 3 jobs. The most time that they enjoy in their brand new cars is the commute to work. Maybe a trip out on the weekend, or maybe once a year. Once a year, they have vacation. And some jobs make it where you have to work a whole year there. with the worst schedule before you get vacation. So don't think that it's all peaches and cream over there. And so this is why you see many Americans who are living in homes that mortgages are so high. And if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, it's going to go even higher. And the taxes go up and the prices of things go up, which is about to happen now. With everything that's going on in the Ukraine with Russia, trust me, if you notice, everything is going up. And it's going to be really bad. If you need to know how it's going to happen, listen to the shows with Brother Dave. And if you don't know who Brother Dave is, you need to know. If you go down on landscurve.com, where you should be, because we're going to always do these shows here. Even sometimes going to cut Twitter, because we're on Twitter right now. We're on Facebook right now. We're on Twitch right now. Sometimes I'm going to just cut those platforms and just make it where you have to go to landscurve.com. I'll take the comment sections off of those. I have to, because I have to train people to know where to go. Because here they can't touch us. See, if I had just broadcast that Irritated Genie show on landscurve.com and that's it, we'd still be on YouTube. I would just have not put it on YouTube because he's banned from social media. They go after him as far as the witch hunts are concerned. But I don't care because he's my brother and I'm always going to support him no matter what. I'll catch a bullet for him because of the work that he's done. And this is why we have to with those who are really doing the work, because out here you realize in this world, especially on social media, and we'll get back on the topic, but there's a whole lot of frauds out here, a whole lot of frauds. And they want to sound good and they want to look good on YouTube, and you get to know them. You're like, wait a second, something's wrong here. And that's another big thing in America. There's so many people who want attention. They want that attention that they can talk this good talk. See, we're YouTube revolutionaries. I'm not saying I am, because I didn't say I was ever a revolutionary. I'm just one person who likes to talk and inspire and motivate. But we have so many wannabe YouTube revolutionaries who think I'm going to talk this talk, and now that I have this following, I'm going to go to Africa and I'm going to save them. Save them from what? From your narcissistic ass who wants to exploit them deep down? You want more attention? Listen, that's no different than the white man who oppresses this place and exploits this place. We have too many black people from the UK and from America who feel that they're the savior. Like the people over in the motherland are so lowly and they need you. They don't need you. With your toxic idiosyncrasies, they don't need you. You're not doing anything for them. You're just coming over here with the same toxicity. Get in where you can fit in. If you have something that you know, share it with them. But don't get butthurt when you come over here and they don't want to pay you no mind because of your ego. This is why I move alone here in the motherland, because I have been severely disappointed in what I've seen and what I've come over here with, and want nothing to do with it when I know that you're a fraud. That's the biggest action that I can take. That's the biggest statement, the most powerful statement I can make, is just pull away. Hey, Lance, I don't see you with so-and-so anymore. Oh, well, there must be a reason. Well, I heard this and I heard, well, yeah, you're going to hear things. And most of the things you'll hear bad about me, but in time, you will see that at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I am not a fraud. But I don't need to say it, right? But getting back to what the original topic is, I can just rant and rant and rant. I don't know the latest developments on this story, because quite honest, I woke up 5 minutes before I hit the button to go live. Yes, I did. The sleep took me over, and I'll probably be up a little bit tonight, a little bit getting some work done, but I feel good. I've been getting some sleep like crazy. The human body is a hell of a thing. If it could tell you that, like they say, you're a man, right? You kiss a girl when you're like 12 years old. Just one quick kiss, one peck of a kiss on the lips, the contact, a little bit of saliva, a little bit of whatever, it stays with you for life. And you can read that out of your body. I don't know how it's stored, but everything you do physically and things you have happened to you mentally and spiritually, it is locked in like a smart card, like where you have data. Let's pull the card and see what it is. And I guess this is why at the point of transition that people said, I saw a light at the end of the tunnel, and all of a sudden I saw my life flash ahead of me. Yeah, That's that card being rewound and pulled out of you before it's pulled out of you. And you see and I'm talking about these people don't say, I saw a few flashes of moments. No, they relive every second and millisecond of their life right before they transition to remind you, let's just do a refresher course on your life and let me show you what your life is all about. Now, we have those who believe in reincarnation. We have those who believe in life after death and a heaven and a hell. I'm not here to debate that. But in every situation, it's always where they say, my life flashed ahead of me. Now, I'm going to read 2 or 3 paragraphs out of this story because probably 3 or 4 things like this happened again already since I had my day and this was put out there. Well, this is 7:45 a.m. They were speaking about yesterday. Um, for me, I'm still in the same day of Monday, but wait a second. Yeah, we're in Monday. When you wake up and you're doing something like I do, I always get confused. I'm here in Accra, but the show is based out of the East Coast time of the United States. So when I cross over into the next day, which I haven't, but it's 10:28 for me, um, I'm thinking, okay, what is it over there? Because I'm thinking it's 10:28, but really in the East Coast it's 6:28. So when it becomes 2 o'clock in the morning for me, I'm thinking, okay, it's Tuesday now. No, it's still Monday over there. So doing the show and staying true to the people who have stuck with me, I kept the time at that time, but this show is for everybody, but I just have to know what time it is. It's a bit confusing sometimes. So anyway, here's the title, and this is out of USA Today, and I'll drop it into the chat room. Matter of fact, let me drop this into the chat room right now, and that way we can read along or just have it for records when the show is over. And I say, hey, Lance, where is that link? Because a lot of times I forget to put it down in the comments section. But here it is. Police seek multiple suspects after shooting killed 6, injured 12 in downtown Sacramento. In America, this is me talking now. In America, this is so common. These stories really don't reach everywhere else. And there it is. Mrs. Scurv is calling me, and I'm going to, even she didn't know I had a show. Ain't that something? The whole world doesn't know I'm having a show. Even Mrs. Scurv called me. Mrs. Scurv, I'm going to call you right back after the show, okay? All right. Okay, it's on the site. I got to tell my own wife that the show is on the site. That's bad. We just going to have to be bad. Anyway, like I was saying, it threw me off. These stories are common. Whatever you hear as far as the news, we don't know now because this is the age of censorship. This is the age of cancel culture. They filter what you see, just like they want to filter the content that I put out on my channel on YouTube, which they own it. That's their platform, okay? But here at Lance Scurv, this is our platform. They can't decide what it is that we put out there. This is why they don't want people to know it and to operate in an independent manner. We have so many video platforms that are like Rumble, and what's the other one? They don't care what you put up. So they say, they all have their limitations, but when the government steps in, trust me, they're going to have to jump to the beat of what the government wants, you see. So yeah, like I was saying, this type of story is commonplace. And I often wonder, let me just read a paragraph. Authorities are searching for multiple shooters Sunday after a shooting rampage in Sacramento left at least 6 people dead and fueled a chaotic scene in a downtown area packed with bar crowds. Police Chief Kathy Lester said officers arriving at the scene around 2 a.m. Sunday found bodies on the street amid a large crowd gathered in the area. Police initially reported multiple victims after the attack, not far from the state capitol, as they waded through the carnage counting casualties. A large fight took place right before the shootings, Lester said at a news conference Sunday afternoon. She said Sacramento police have confirmed there were multiple shooters and have located hundreds of pieces of evidence at the scene, including a stolen handgun. At least 18 people were shot, officials said, and 12 are being treated at nearby hospitals. 6 adults, 3 men and 3 women, died from gunshot injuries, Lester said. The scale of violence that just happened in our city is unprecedented in my 27 years here at the Sacramento Police Department, she said. Broken glass and police evidence markers were strewn across multiple blocks. Police tweeted that investigators were aware of a social media video that appears to show an altercation taking place just prior to the shooting. No arrests were immediately made, and an online portal was open for the public to upload evidence. If anyone saw anything, has video, can provide any information to the police department, we are asking for their assistance, Lester said. Now, the article goes on to speak about another church shooting where 5 were left dead. I think that might have been at a prior time. They kind of compiled a few of these together, but that's what it is. So she said that that type of violence was unprecedented. So there was nothing worse there, and I don't really believe that, because that's the first thing out of her mouth, to kind of say, basically between the lines, it's safe here. We don't usually have this stuff here. Well, maybe I'd like to check the records one day, because I'm quite sure there's some black folks and cops. They've done things to us, and killings across the country have happened. So they try to subconsciously turn and bend the narrative. And if you're not looking to catch these type of phrases, it goes out of your head. Like, okay, it's safe there, but is it safe for you? Because having white skin in America, it gives you privilege. Just like I always said, and this is not really off topic, but just to back that statement up, you get Ukrainians that come to the United States, they might say, oh, yes, I'm grateful, I'm glad to be here, you took me in. Or even in the UK where they're doing that, right? But they give black people hell to come into the country. When the Haitians came into the country, they turned them around and sent them back. When any country that's black that's going through something on a worldwide scale, they will not help them. They'll turn a deaf ear. But now we have this thing happening in the Ukraine, and all of a sudden you're supposed to help them out, take them in, and we'll give them funds, we'll give them money that usually the country doesn't have. We were speaking about America or the UK. I just don't understand it. But then we can't say that, because when we say that, we are thinking from a logical mind, a sound mind, a sane mind. But in the mind of those white power brokers who are in charge of these countries and how things go, it's business as usual, because that's how they treat us, and they have us underfoot. This is the way it is. This is reality. So we live as black people in the world in a counter existence. What goes for them is what not, it doesn't go for us. And you may have some examples, little fluke examples that they will use, and they'll bring out a celebrity, or they will do something for somebody black that's uncharacteristic to their character, and they parade it around in their media. And those of us who are coons, we grab it quick. See, they're not all that bad. See this? They're good people. They're not bad. And they look for every reason to big up the oppressor. They look for every reason to tell you why you're wrong, because they want to have a kumbaya moment with the oppressor, because they don't think anything of themselves. And that's how you know this thing called racism, oppression, and indoctrination works. It works. Because where are the people who are the real revolutionaries, who are not afraid to catch that bullet first, who are not afraid to lose that job, who are not afraid to be marginalized by their family? Because, yes, you're not talking that stuff. You're not coming to church with us, and you're speaking that radical stuff. And guess what? You don't tolerate her. When we come to the cookout of the family dinner, she or he is going to start that talk again. Just ignore it. And where are the Bible thumping people now? And I'm talking about this crime that they say, but it's always been this way for us in America and beyond, because as we well know, we see in the Ukraine, racism is a global thing. You're not going to get away from it. Even when you're around people who look like you, many of them are agents for them. Many of them. And so America, the UK, and many other places that were known to be these places of euphoria, which is a damn lie, because they're the most violent people in the whole world. But the cat's getting flying out of the bag. The secret is out, that to be around them and you in your, or with the skin you're wrapped in, is not a good thing. They'll do it for a little while and fool you. And then after a while, the truth comes out. And you learn that they don't want you around them, only in a subservient position. See, they know how to come to different parts of the world especially when they, like, let's use the Caribbean, for example. And you got white folks from America and white folks from the UK and other places. And they do it here in the Gambia and they do it here in Ghana, where they come here for fun and games. They come there to those places for the ultimate hedonistic experience. So where you have a supervisor on a job who literally can't stand black people in America, or a CEO in a company who is so away and distant from how we live, and they don't like us. We're underfoot. The only thing we can do for them, like Elvis Presley said, is shine their shoes and shine off a couple other body parts too. And that's what they come down there for. We have the women from the UK, the white women from the UK. They go out to Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados. They go down to the Gambia. They come down to Ghana. They come down to these black nations because they see themselves wrinkling and getting older, and they haven't lived out their fantasies yet. They got more wrinkles in their face than they do in their old ass dry vagina. But they want to experience the might and power of a black man. So they come down, let's say, for example, to Jamaica, or they come down to the Gambia. Google it if you think I'm lying. White women, sex, Gambia. Just put it in Google. White women, sex, Gambia. White women, sex, Jamaica. And you're going to find these white women, for example, that come down. They are looking specifically for that. It's not like they just came down and happened to run into a stiff one. Yes, stiff one. I'm not talking about corn on the cob, you know, the black penis. As much as they hate us, they can't stay away from that. And the sick thing is, some of the men can't stay away from the black penis either, sick as y'all are. And you come down and you spend money on these black men, and they come back to the hotel room with you and give to you what your husband could never give. So you bring these men back oftentimes to your country, and they're so glad because they think America in the UK is heaven on earth. And now, even though this white woman is older, she has money, and you don't mind being the pet for them to perform on command, and things that you would never do with your own sister, you do with these white women because you think they're superior. You're tonguing them down, ugly as they are, no lips, but you don't treat your sister this way. And there's not an orifice on this white woman's body that you don't pleasure with your mouth. You tongue this white woman down, and you make sure that the nerve endings in both ends of her digestive system are well serviced. And use your imagination on that, because that's what's really happening. And you get the white men who look for the black women or look for the black men to pay them a little bit and have sex with them. And you think in your sick mind, as a person who's getting paid, that, wow, these people are nice. They have all the money. I could imagine if I go back to America or the UK with them, I'll live so good. Yeah, they'll bring you back, but you're just a sex kitten. You're just a sex toy. And it's so amazing to me that many of these black men that put out ads in these dating services will use a terminology that was so against us, such a painful term you put out there to these white folks, saying that your penis is big. This is the term, I am a well hung black man. Really? You're well hung. Do you know what that meant not too long ago in American history? That you were well hung, hanging from trees, because they treated you like a piece of, not even like an animal. You're well hung, and you're proud to say this. You're proud to say that your penis is a little bigger than most and operates really well. You're well hung. And you do this with pride, not knowing the history of that term. Because usually with black men, this is all we have. But back to the topic, because I'm very passionate about this subject, and I will always continue to speak about it. Now, going back to that, these mass shootings, statistically, I can pull up all types of information. And okay, let me see this here. All right. Yeah, okay, true. It's a text that just came in. Statistically, if you go to the FBI statistics on mass shootings, And I'm quite sure it's been like this for years. And I looked at it the other day, but I can't tell you the exact breakdown. But the majority of mass shootings, which I think is the shootings where you either shoot more than three people, two or three people, maybe four people, that's considered a mass shooting. It doesn't have to be 25 people shot. So this incident here, according to the FBI, will be considered a mass shooting. You have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these shootings in America. But why are we not hearing about it? Because like in the beginning of the show, we're supposed to be thinking bad like this on the hood. But America, the United States of America, it is the hood and has been the hood. But you who don't know that, who live abroad, you see what's in the newspapers, you see what's on the smartphone, you see what's on the computer, and it paints a different picture of what America is. And forget the violence toward us, and forget the term that they coined in the media, so shrewd, and we go and run behind them and we echo the same thing. You know what that is? Have you ever heard the term, especially if you don't live in America, right? Black on black crime. So wait a second. They tell you in the media how bad black on black crime is. Now I know we have a great measure of self-hate, but why don't we hear the other terms? Why is it only black on black crime? That's to make it seem as though where we live is the worst place. But if the majority of mass shootings are committed and done by angry white men, why don't you call it white on white crime? Then break down all the statistics. What about Asian on Asian crime? What about white on white crime? What about white on black crime? Don't you do stuff as police officers and regular folk that live there that don't have any status in law enforcement to us? Why don't you record that? They do record it, but they don't push those numbers because they know overwhelmingly you'll see what's really going on. And as far as black on black crime is concerned, don't you kill where you live? When you get into a dispute where you live and they say, oh, the hood is so bad, well, you have a lot of frustrated people there who can't get out of that system of the hood that keeps you there. You may have a record put on you as a young man and you didn't do anything. Or you may have done something light and they amp the charges upon you. Now you have a felony and can't get a job because most jobs don't hire felons. But then you have another person living in another neighborhood on the other side of the tracks. They're white and they get sent through the system as a young man for something stupid they did, and they get a smack on the wrist. And a few years later, they're working a great job or having their own business. But we're like tag pigeons. And so they run back and say, look at this. Look at this. Look at the amount of felons who live in this black neighborhood. It's bad there. But they're not responsible for the same deaths that happen when the president of the United States or those government officials order killings in different lands so you can get the resources there. And they look at them like heroes. They see something, they want it, and damn it, if I've got to kill thousands, I'm going to get it. Saddam Hussein is not here. Muammar Gaddafi is not here anymore. And so many other people that are not here that didn't agree with America, and because of their thuggery, them being murderers because they want everything and want to rule the planet, they will kill you. But the petty so-called criminal that gets thrown in prison or gets thrown in jail out of survival and not having any opportunities, and I'm not giving them any excuses either, but the small so-called criminal is called a criminal out of a need for survival, where if they did have a great paying job or way of making money, they wouldn't think about doing anything like this. Imagine everybody was legally paid in the hood of what this place you call the hood. They had great jobs that what they were making per hour was beyond anything they could imagine. Imagine that. So the pain of poverty now is taken away. And they have positions that they feel proud of, that they would never do anything wrong because they wouldn't want to lose those positions. But the jobs that are offered there are at the bottom of the barrel and keep them there because the money they make keeps them only being able to afford them to live in apartments and places in those areas. They're priced out of living anywhere else. Why do you all want to live in a hood and just be clumped up in the hood? Because they can't. What are you going to put your prices down lower for these apartments in the affluent side of town? So it's a very complex web when you see how things are in America. But most people outside, you may have a black person who is an immigrant coming into America. Let's say, for example, someone who doesn't know these things, and they come to America from Jamaica. And they say, oh, the black Americans, they're so lazy. Oh, I don't understand why they want to live where they live. But they live somewhere, say, for example, a woman who is doing a living job in the affluent side of town with white folks taking care of their children. So they get a taste of the good life, which is afforded to white folks, and they look at black people the same way those white folks look at the black people until they get their nigga wake up call and realize they're not really revered as much as they thought they were. That's the way it is. And so we have these mass shootings where I was watching the Breakfast Club maybe 2 years ago. Charlemagne the God was speaking, and he said, you know what? We're halfway through the year, and according to the FBI, we have over 500 mass shootings in the overwhelming majority of them. We're not talking about like, okay, let's just say it was 500, was halfway through. Then you know pretty much statistically by the end of the year, you're going to have 1,000 mass shootings. I think there was one or two black men involved in those shootings, right? And I think out of the two, one of them, a black man, was a victim, where there were other white victims. So this is overwhelmingly a white thing. But wait a second, they run things. But wait a second, we're led to believe that they have it better than us. And I'm not fighting their cause, but see, this is the thing. In America being the hood, officially, it's been this way for so many years because it's on its way out. And I have to give credit where credit's due. Many of you don't like Elijah Muhammad, aka the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, how could you say he's honorable when he screwed those young girls and gave them all babies? Well, how many of your so-called heroes and celebrities and athletes and stars are pedophiles? Which he wasn't messing around with no 3-year-old, okay? In America, they say 18 years old for the most part. In places like Georgia, 16 years old. I'm not making no excuse, but don't kill the messenger. Listen to the truth he said. How many times you had to ask for the assistance of a drunk in the street for directions, and the directions were right? Doesn't mean him being an alcoholic to his life was right, but he was right in his directions that he gave to you. And Elijah Muhammad said that there's going to come a time in the fall of America that you'll see money in the street and nobody will bend down to pick it up because it won't have any value. Well, look at what's happening now. And maybe you don't see it yet. Brother Dave said, give it 9 months to a year before the dollar completely crashes. We are teeter-tottering on the edge. And we have this propaganda that's put out to us where America is the best place. If you go down the list of the best places to live in the world, Google it. 9 times out of 10, America is not even in the top 5 or 6. There are better places to live in the world than America. The propaganda is tough here for those who live here. People who ask me, oh, you're leaving America to go to Africa, to go to Ghana. What, are you going to live in a mud hut now? What, are you going to have to sleep in the trees to get away from the lions that are roaming about to bite you and kill you? Do you have running water? Do you have electricity? This is the propaganda that goes out there, and this is how many of us from America will view the African, when the majority of those in the various countries on the continent of Africa have cities that they come from. And yes, it's beautiful when you see the villages, and it's beautiful when you see places that are not in the city, who may have had to live because there's not much money, but they're living a healthier life. They're living a healthier life. Those in America who get so stressed because of being in the system, where do you go to first for vacation? You go somewhere where there's lots of nature, don't you? You go somewhere where you can get away from it all because you have a heart attack scheduled in your life from the stress that you go through. Huh? If you keep going like this, you're not going to live a full life. You're not going to live a happy life, a fulfilling life. So you find yourself in the Caribbean, barefoot. It feels so good to ground and connect. You're around nature and you can inhale the oxygen that comes from the trees as you exchange carbon dioxide for the oxygen. You're part of nature, you're part of the system now, and you feel the stresses coming off of you. You know you're on vacation, but there is no time now because the ultimate way of living is not living and jumping through the hoops of a clock. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I gotta go here. Oh, it's 3:30. I gotta go here. No. When you're on vacation, so-called, when you're released from the prison of America, in the prison of a job, the prison of the UK, you feel free. But when you get back, you look down on those people who may not have a big paying job, whether they're in the motherland or in the Caribbean, and you think that they're behind. You think they have nothing. Some may live in shacks, some may live in mansions. But those who may not have the money, they have something that you don't have. They're eating food that's not GMO. They're working along with each other because they realize they have each other. They may not have the red bottom shoes, but it's better to have a brown bottom foot because of your foot touching the ground. Because you might have those red bottom shoes and on your way to a nervous breakdown trying to keep up with the Joneses. You see? So there's a lot of things that go into this. So when I left and they threw all these things off and they realized through my videos that I would put up, I said, wait a second, this doesn't seem so bad. You're living it up over there. I never knew. Well, how could you when the oppressor is putting propaganda into your brain? So America officially, I say, and I knew this from growing up, it wasn't as bad as it is now, but it was pretty bad because they can't hide the secret anymore. It's almost like that family that's in a church, or you have a pastor and his wife and his children, and they look to be the most upstanding pillars of the community as far as decency is concerned. And then you begin to hear the rumors. Then you begin to hear what is said behind closed doors, that the pastor has a person that he's laying hands on quite frequently 3 o'clock in the morning, if you know what I mean, because his car is spotted in their driveway, as other things are spotted inside of other body parts, if you know what I mean. And you find out how he beats his wife, and you find out how a couple of the children are not doing as well at the school, but they project this image of this wholesome family. That's America. That's America. Read between the lines. Talk to anyone from over here, especially one who is black, and they will tell you the conditions there that we have to endure. Who wants their baubles and rubies and trinkets? You work hard all of your life and you'll make it. Yeah, but then as soon as you retire, you drop dead because you gave your life force to a system that does nothing for you. Ain't that a damn? Ain't that a shame? That we have to live most of our life under their feet. And then we realize we have not accrued anything of value at all. You work on their jobs all your life, and your little 401k retirement only gives you pennies on a dollar. You could have saved more money than that, but you thought they were going to take care of you. That joker is not planning on taking care of you. You have more promise. I'm not even going to say potential, but you have a promise from within, from your creator that you don't really listen to anymore. I don't care how much you go to church. You ain't talking to the one who made you. You're talking to something else. You're talking to something that was fabricated by the very one who oppresses you to keep you oppressive or keep you oppressed because he looks like him. And he's made you to believe that they are gods, but they're not. They have duped you and fooled you. I, for one, have always known. I've always known this all my life. But being trapped in the system the way I was, having to create money to raise my children, having to have money to do this and do that, after a while, I said, hey, I'm out of here. I don't need this. I don't need this hustle and bustle that you're working so much you only feel like you're going home to visit your family? The only time that you feel good at home and have time to be at home is when you have a bad flu or some kind of sickness? Really? And you sitting here saying, man, it sure is nice to be home, but you're sick and run down. They will never ever allow you time to enjoy your real life. Your life force has to be sucked out. And guess what? After giving all of that, you realize that you live in the hood, that no matter where you are in America, you are in the hood. So they say the drugs and the crime and the molestations and different things behind these beautiful subdivision gates. You think it's not the hood there either? People committing suicide, wives killing husbands so that they can have the insurance money. Husbands gotten gay lovers on the outside, but they're acting like as a pastor that there's so much against it. Older women who are there who are drug addicts, but you don't know it because they're friends with the doctor who writes out prescriptions for painkillers that they're addicted to. It's the same conditions behind those affluent gates as it is outside in the hood that may be occupied by Black people. But understand, we have hoods that are overwhelmingly populated by poor white trash, as they call it. Poor white trash. Remember, you have a rank and file with white folks too, because those affluent white folks don't want to be around the poor white folks that are suffering under the same system. And the majority of them are suffering. They say we're minorities, and they say that we're only 13% of the population. So if there's so much poverty in America, 58% of the families or 60-something, whatever the percentage is, you can't say the 13% that we are covers all of that. So that means there's more of you suffering than us. And all of us are not suffering. We have more millionaires than ever before. But it doesn't mean anything on a monetary level if they can't go back and reach to help the people who either they left behind or maybe they were raised affluent. You need to reach out and help your own. You see? But the first thing we must do when you live in the hood, whether you're white or black, we have to release that hood mentality. I know a lot of people who may live in the hood who happen to be black, and you can help them and take them out of that condition physically, and they will screw it up because they can't let go of the mentality that keeps them there. Many people that meet me, they would assume when you came up in America, you came up in the hood. No, I did not. I did not. But I never threw off on those who were on the other side of the tracks who were, because I know a lot of brilliant people who were raised up in the hood, but got caught up in the trappings and locked away where you'll never see their brilliance. Or some who lived in such conditions where they didn't have much money and sold their great ideas to a company that went on to make millions and only gave them pennies on a dollar. So don't think that just because white folks live in certain neighborhoods that they're better than you. And when they put out to the world how good America is, it's a damn lie. You got more homelessness and people who even work on jobs and have jobs, but they have to live out of their vehicles if they have one. The majority of them live in tent cities. Google tent cities. Don't take my word for it. Methamphetamines, crack is still there. But the methamphetamine addiction is so bad. And guess what? It's not just us. It's the majority of white folks out there that are filling up those statistics. The mental wards, the mental institutions, the stress that's there in America is pushing us over the edge. The breakdown of the family, especially in the Black community, it's hurting us. We have become so dysfunctional, and we celebrate our dysfunctions in front of the world to the delight of the very one who has broken us down to that point and oppresses us. Isn't that sad? I will say it till the cows come home, because that's the truth. Look into it a little more when you see something that's out there. But with these mass shootings and see, they say that about us in the Black neighborhoods, but it's only because we're hurting because we don't have. Like I said earlier, if we were paid, if we were making money, we would not have the frustration, which money is not our God, because there's other factors involved. In the mindset that we have now, money is not going to just take care of it. We got to build back the Black family, the breakdown of the Black family. It has become normalcy for us in the levels of dysfunctions that we have in the Black community. We've accepted this as normalcy. No, it's not. And we parade around in our dysfunctions. And others find it very amusing, but I, for one, don't see our breakdown in our communities and our family as anything amusing. This is why I'm pissed, because I didn't know I'd get to this year of 2022. And even though I'm away from America, you can say, well, it's not bothering me. Yes, it does. Because I see beautiful people that I've known broken down and reduced. I've seen beautiful sisters, beautiful. I'm not talking in a lustful way, although their bodies would create lust in most men. No, I'm not looking at, I'm talking about the beauty of their soul, the sweetness of their character, how they could have been a wonderful wife, but now they've been reduced down to a street prostitute, somebody who now got hooked on drugs and doesn't look anything like they used to, and everybody thinks her is something less. The white men who paid them $10 for a blowjob. This brilliant sister who any man coming up would see her and would love to marry this woman. She's sucking dick for $10 if she gets that much. Oftentimes $5 in the crotch of some black man who doesn't understand that he should not be doing that to his sister. Worse off is some white man, musty balls, using her for his twisted pleasures. Because lots of times when you commit that act, if you're a couple, you're married and you're doing things out of love, that's one thing. But lots of times you have these men who want to feel powerful. It feels good, but that way, no, that's twisted. You want to feel superior to somebody. I can pay this black woman $5 with a condom. I'll pay her $10 with no condom. Doesn't matter if I'm full of HIV and I'm gonna pay you an extra $5 to swallow everything. I'm gonna pay you $15 to swallow your life away because you need that $15 to get that hit of drugs. That's the only thing on your mind because your mind has been so corrupted and twisted to get away from the pain of living in the hood. You see how this thing works? But we don't think that way. You're doing this to this man because the drug took over your mind and that's all you can see. That's why you have to stay away from this stuff. The drugs will pull you down to that level, and if you're strong enough to resist it, you're still a functional addict. But look how many people in white America are addicted to drugs, but they don't paint that narrative. They don't paint them as being the whores. Young girls who may have not much to do or don't see much hope, they get caught up in the lying words of another man. Yes, who may happen to be black. You're young, you're teenagers, and you get pregnant. Well, guess what? It's put out there when you get that abortion. But in white America, when the little white girl gets the abortion, nobody talks about it because she has to maintain her pristine persona and personality. Double standards, white on white crime. You never hear that. When you see a white man kill another white man or family, a woman, a child, say it, white on white crime. Say it on social media. Speak it out of your mouth when you're on these jobs and you hear somebody say black on black crime. Pull up the statistics of those white men who are responsible for the mass shootings and say, boy, white on white crime, wow. The FBI, your FBI states, here are the numbers. Watch them turn red. Don't believe that stuff. And the way to beat this thing that they try to say is black on black crime is black on black love. I can talk about this all night long, and I'd love to, but I'm going to end it here. We have another few days, another 2 weeks before this so-called ban is over. Get the word out that we're still having our shows. We can have call-in shows. We can have shows, group conversations. And after the 2-week ban from YouTube is over, right, then we will come and upload all of these programs that we have that many people missed. But put the word out. I try my best. Very few are here from the regular crew, but that doesn't stop the work from being put in because there's so many aspects of the work that I have to do here at landscape.com. I just want to thank you all for being here. And tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be speaking again. If there's more participation and if there are call-ins or people who want to call in, let me know and we'll go on, maybe go on for a little longer. But that's the bottom line. This is what we're going to do. And nothing will stop me and allow nothing to stop you in your quest for excellence and to pull out the seeds of greatness that the Creator gave to you that are guaranteed, not in your potential, but in your promise for greatness to make the world a better place than it was when you came in. Much love to you all. Salute to my brothers and much love to my sisters. Continue on, leave your feedback on the website, landscurve.com, on this particular page, and spread the word. And thank you so much for your support. On to the next one. Peace.